So let's discuss today the neurocircuit that we are using in RPM and why RPM works with this kind of a provider and is not working with that kind of a provider. So the success is in the circuit. Now, what is the circuit that we are using? We are tapping in the student. See, like I'm talking about the software, the kind of how our mind works. So the circuit is in the language area to the motor cortex, which is the primary motor cortex and the premotor cortex, to the basal ganglia, to the cerebellum. And I'll tell you what. So language area, there are 5 kinds of language areas. We have the Broca area, Wernicke area, angular gyrus, supramarginal gyrus, inferior frontal gyrus. So these are all these language areas and they are doing different things. So when the teacher is teaching the student that force is a component that makes things happen, or whatever the teacher is teaching. So we are using a kind of a common language which the student is going to respond. So the student is going to respond, so the teacher can ask any kind of a thing to any kind of a question. So from here, from the language, for the student response, it has to go to the motor cortex, which is going to make the student channel the language that learned, making him ready to focus on whichever part of the body the student needs to demonstrate his response. So it can be the fingertips to point, it can be speech, it can be through handwriting, depends on, it's alerting the student to respond. Now, if at all the student gets distracted with an impulsive language, because impulse, OCD, they have the language, then the students, this motor cortex is going to language and alert those areas that are required to implement the impulsive activity or the this OCD activity. Now, from the motor cortex, the message goes to our basal ganglia. Now, the basal ganglia is the initiation part. So if the basal ganglia is like under functioning, or the basal ganglia is getting led by the impulse activity, then this spelling, what the teacher taught or communicating, is going to sort of be impacted by that. So that is why the prompt comes in. As you can say, you're prompt dependent. Yeah, you do it without prompt. For this particular student who has this basal ganglia connection not that is going in a different direction, then it's not going to happen. And from here, it goes to the cerebellum. Cerebellum is how to point and spell, how to handwrite and show the teacher, because some students decide to handwrite instead of spelling on the letterboard, or how to speak. So it's happening so automatically in any typical person, but for an autistic person, we have to also look at spelling is a slow process. So while I'm spelling the word, a big word, say Constantinople, there can be 2 or 3 distractions on the way. And that's why it's a teacher's job to keep the student connected so that this circuit wins over the other impulsive or OCD circuits. Because in RPM, we don't use the word sort of behavior or all kinds of things. It's just a kind of a different circuit where the sensory attention is.